Hi everyone, I'm Trevor Williams, and today we are going to be talking about Music Hall. I am going to be setting up a turntable for the very first time. I am a beginner level audiophile, and I have never actually set up a turntable from start to finish. I've played around with cartridges, I've done a few other things, but today I'm going to be taking a look at the Music Hall US-1, and we're going to set it up together. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently today. Today I am going to open this up from start to finish, and we are going to set it up together. Hopefully it turns into something fun, something enjoyable. Hopefully you guys get something out of it, and we'll just see how it goes. So let's get started. All right, this is the Music Hall US-1. It is a belt-driven 2-speed turntable, so it plays 33 and 45 RPM records, which are the most common. So it's got a built-in phono amp, which is the reason that I chose to go with this one. I don't have all the system stuff that's necessary to do anything more in depth than that, but I've got the Kanto YU4 speakers here that I'm going to be able to connect to, and we should be ready to go. I think first off the bat, just to start with, the packaging is great. These actually are double packaged for shipping. So they come in a cardboard box around this regular box, which keeps them very safe and secure. And as you can see from the styrofoam packaging and everything looks to be secured really well. We've got the vinyl platter or rubber platter here on top, and we've got all the other pieces. It looks like there's the phono cable. I've actually got a couple of other cables here that I'd like to test against the factory cable as well to see how that improves sound and how that affects the sound. But let's just open it up and get started here. I wonder if at any point I'm going to need to use the manual to set this up, or if I'll be able to do it just from my theoretical knowledge working at Sound Approach. We'll see. So I'm going to take the platter out. So this actually is just a felt platter for protection, so we'll set that aside. I have another one here. It's a Moo mat. Some of you might remember those from several years ago. I think the company went out of business for Moo mat, but they had like a cow skin, I guess, a cow skin or a cow skin print on the turntable mats. So it feels very similar to that actually. So this is going to be our turntable cover. Oh wow, that's pretty. So it's got a Music Hall. Let's see if we can hold that up. It's got a Music Hall decal right here on top. That looks beautiful. Now the cool thing about the US-1 is this is a beginner entry piece. It really is the definition of a beginner audiophile piece. It comes with everything you need to get started, obviously except for the speakers. You just hook up the turntable, you set it up according to the instructions from the manual for the tone arm and everything. You make sure you get your cartridge dialed in, and then you're ready to start. Let's see. Oh, the accessory. It's even, oh, okay. So we've got a label here on this side for the accessories. You can see here, and all the accessories are included here. It looks like this is going to be our head shell. We've got this probably, and it's the tone arm counterweight. So let's pull that off first. Oh wow, okay. So there's our counterweight, spindle, and then our head shell. Oh, the cartridge is already connected. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was going to have to install the cartridge or not. And this is an Audio-Technica cartridge on what looks like just a pretty generic head shell. RecoCut makes very similar head shells to this, which we have on our website. And we don't have the Audio-Technica cartridges, but we have very similar cartridges from Grado. That'll give you the same kind of quality. We have similar things from Goldring as well. But again, entry level quality. So Nothing too expensive, nothing too extreme, but it looks like it'd be pretty easy to replace if needed. So here is the tricky bit, trying to get this out. I don't want to damage or break. Well, the styrofoam's breaking because it's taped. All right. Now that will slide out. And then the platter and everything is on the bottom. And this is an aluminum cast platter. I don't know if that's standard for most turntables. It might be. And I'm sorry about all the noise. I'm sure that's coming through pretty loud from my microphone, but all right. Let's just pull this apart real quick and get this out. I want to be careful setting it on here that I don't break anything. So everything, as you can see, is very well packaged. And I'm willing to bet that once everything is put together, I'll be able to put it back into the styrofoam if I ever need to store it or anything, or you know, if you're moving. So keeping the materials is probably necessary, or keeping your shipping boxing materials is necessary. That is beautiful looking. This is a really affordable turntable. I think the retail price on this is somewhere in the $200 to $300 range, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a really affordable turntable. And what's great about it is I've seen other affordable turntables, and they don't have this kind of audiophile look to them. We've got the four legs here on the bottom, which seem to be, self-leveling. That is awesome. It's not extremely heavy. It probably weighs about 5 to 10 pounds, so it's not heavy at all. Go ahead and pull this out so I can plug it in when we're ready. And we've got a couple of pieces that we need to assemble here. We've got the clasps for the top, which are spring-loaded, which makes sense, so you'll be able to keep it open while you're setting your records. And we have our turntable platter. So I guess this goes right on top. I did it. I wonder if 20 minutes from now, I'm going to be grabbing my head saying, God, I wish I had looked at the manual when I was setting things up. That spins really cleanly. I don't see any deviation. It seems to be perfectly, it seems to have the perfect diameter. If I'm not mistaken, this is a 13-inch diameter platter, which is standard, which you would expect. So, and we've got a very simple plug-in on the tone arm. This is an S-shaped tone arm, which I believe is standard on all of the music hall turntables. And the difference in quality that you get between the turntables is a lot. The mechanics inside. This is a manual tone arm as opposed to an automatic tone arm. So, which is why we have the finger lift here on the cartridge. All right, so let's see where this was supposed to go. I'm guessing that was supposed to go on the tone arm. And here's our counterweight for the tone arm. I'm going to double check the owner's manual. I believe the tone arm is supposed to be set at 3 grams. So we can double check that. And it says self-balancing in the manual. Let me just pull the manual stuff. I printed out a copy, but there is an included manual here. A printed out copy of the manual as well. So you have everything. Then there's the phono cable. Very basic RCA cable. So I think it is important that you go through the assembly instructions. So remove the main unit, set the 45 RPM adapter on the main unit. That's it. There's a little placeholder for the 45 adapter. All right. Set the turntable platter onto the center spindle. So we had that right. We were in the right position to start. All right, that still spins, so we're good. Set the slip mat on the platter. Doesn't say anything about removing. Oh, that's the belt. Okay, so we're going to get to the belt in a second. There's two little red tabs here that are taped to the platter. And they're connected to the belt. You can't really see the belt, but the belt is inside here, right here, where these two ribbons are holding it. And I'm guessing is all I got to do is pull these ribbons, and it's going to slip right here onto the spindle for the belt, since this is a belt-driven turntable. All right, installation of cartridge. When installing a cartridge, so you've got your head shell leads here, and you want to make sure that you align the colors correctly. Everything comes pre-installed, so you don't really have to do anything. You don't have to worry about that until you're changing the cartridge. We also have a video on how to change your cartridge or to change your stylus. So if you want to check that out, that'll be somewhere in this area. Check out that video where DJ runs us through the process of installing a cartridge on your head shell. All right, so we're going to insert the head shell into the front end of the tone arm and then turn the lock nut counterclockwise with the head shell firmly held horizontally. So we're going to loosen this. We're going to stick it right in. There we go. Once you have it all the way loose, it goes all the way in. And then we turn it counterclockwise until we're solid. Perfect. All right, install. Insert the head shell into the front end. We did that. Slide the counterweight onto the tone arm. It looks like this is aligned. Okay, so there's a little bump in there that will screw on, so your counterweight will screw on. And then sliding it forwards and backwards gives you the balance point for the tone arm. That's their lift. There we go. So we've got our little hook for the tone arm. Ooh, keep our tone arm in place. And you can see how this balance counterweight affects the balance. So I have here a stylus force gauge, which will help us get dialed into 3 grams, which is what the standard setting is for this turntable on this tone arm and with this cartridge. So these aren't super accurate. If you have the option or the ability to get the digital versions, those are a much better option. But I'm going to test this out. I have never set up a turntable, and I wanted to go old school with my setup here. So we're going to use the stylus force gauge, which balances, and we've got different weights in here that'll help us balance everything. So, and there's even a little instruction book for how to use it. So you place the stylus force gauge on the turntable platter, position the stylus into the dimple on this side. So I'm going to take off the protector for that. And you just want to line it up. Oh, this still has the stylus protector. Oh, that slides right off real easily. So you have a stylus protector on the end of your Audio-Technica stylus. And then we're going to unhook this, find the dimple. All right, and we need 3 grams. So I'm going to get 1, 2. So I've got a weight here for 3 grams. That looks pretty balanced right off the bat. Let's try going forward just a little bit. Ooh, it's a little tricky. I don't want to damage my stylus. That looks pretty good. Scoot it forward just, or scoot it backwards just a little bit. See if we balance out. That is balanced. I think that is balanced. That is at 3 grams. So let me double check on the back of the counterweight to see if we are set at 3 grams, because I think that is right there on the money. This is showing me at 2.5 grams actually. So if we balance this on the counterweight to 3, where does that leave us? All right. So I guess this is more of a double. Oh, yes, that's much better. Okay. So this is like a double check against the counterweight. So we're balanced perfectly here at 3 grams. I'm lined up 3 grams on the back of the counterweight. So we are all set. And I'm losing pieces. All right, so now all I got to do, and the weights here are basically between a 1/4 gram, a half. You've got a 1/4 gram, a couple of half grams, a 1 gram, and a 2 gram weight for the Reco Cut stylus gauge. So we're going to go ahead and put this back, close it up, and put it away because we don't need that anymore. All right. So that actually worked out. That was a lot easier than I was expecting it to be. I wish there was like a little storage area for our stylus cap. I guess when it's not in use, you can use the stylus cap to protect it. Granted, it's not really necessary. A little bit harder to place too. No, that doesn't want to go back on. Oh well. Okay. So I think we've got everything put together now, except for the belt. So that's probably going to be one of the last steps here. All right, adjustment of the horizontal zero balance and stylus pressure. Release the tone arm clamp and lift the tone arm. We did that. Okay, rotate the counterweight to 3 grams. We did that. If you use a separate stylus, please follow the manufacturer's instructions. So that's important. So if you're going to upgrade from the Audio-Technica stylus cartridge, you're going to want to use the manufacturer settings for that cartridge, not the one that's included here. So it could be the same, but it may be different. Now we need to set the anti-skating control knob to the same value as the stylus pressure. And our anti-skating control knob is here. No, that's not it. The anti-skating is on here. So how do we do that? How do we do the anti-skating? I don't know how to do that. All right. Oh, there's so many pieces. Okay. Here we go. All right. So on like the 5th or 6th page, you've got your controls and overview. And if, like me, you are brand new to this, I highly recommend that you take a look. You've got your 45 RPM adapter here. You've got your turntable platter, obviously. You've got your strobe indicators are number 3. That's these things on the side here. These, once it's spinning at the correct speed, it'll look like just a straight line. You won't see the dots anymore. So it's really cool that that's actually included on the platter itself, because making sure you have the correct speed is important for playing your records properly. It's very similar to this. This is a super strobe disc, and how that would work is you just put it on the center spindle, and then when the record starts spinning, you look at the correct line, and if all you're seeing is a solid line, then the record is spinning at the correct speed. If you're not seeing a solid line, then it's not spinning at the correct speed. So this actually has those on the sides of the platter, which I didn't know that they did, but that makes perfect sense. So very cool. Strobe indicators are right here on the platter. Each row may appear to stand still at different pitch levels, so it's not a solid line, they stand still. Okay. The use of heavy fluorescent lighting directly above the turntable will defeat the strobe lamp. Oh, that's no good. All right, center spindle. let's put everything away. Or let's get to the next. The center spindle is right here. I'm going to keep this open because it's directing everything. Strobe indicators pilot lamp is number 5. This is the strobe indicators pilot lamp. All right, and it gives you, oh, that gives you your power. Okay, turns it on and off. All right, this is a lamp specially designed to pulse a beam of light at the strobe indicators on the turntable platter. This will give the illusion that indicators are not spinning at certain speeds. All right, here's our stop. Oh, there it is. Okay, so the lamp is on the inside of this knob. And if you turn that on, then you will be able to see if you have the correct speed. If you need to adjust the pitch to speed it up or slow it down, that's going to be on this side. All right, we have our stop button, the head shell we already talked about, and we have our S-shaped tone arm, pretty standard for music hall. And we've got our 33 RPM and 45 RPM speed selectors. And the pitch control slider is used to adjust the playback pitch percentage and the platter speed, a little bit up or a little bit down. I think the value it told me was 10% up or 10% down. So not very dramatic, but when you're talking about the speed for the records, it's important that you're dialed in. So that's just part of the, the beginning setup. We have our armrest clamp and rest, our anti-skate knob, which is number 16. That is right here. Okay, that makes sense since I couldn't see it before. The anti-skate applies inward force to the tone arm to prevent outward skipping across the record due to the centrifugal force caused by platter rotation. The anti-skate value should be equal to that of the stylus counterweight pressure. So that means we need to set the anti-skate to 3. So it starts at 0. We need to set it to 3. It's got numbers around the side between 0 and 5 or 0 and 4. So the weight that this can, or the weight of the stylus is going to be set somewhere between 0 and 4, depending on the manufacturer of stylus that you have on there. So that's what the anti-skate is for. That's how you set it. It's just not to the right of the tone arm. All right, what do we have? What else? We have the stylus pressure ring. The counterweight scale must face towards the DJ. So that is, ooh, do I have that backwards? The counterweight scale must face towards the DJ. So I actually have this set backwards. I need to take this off. See, that's why I wanted to go through. I wasn't sure. I didn't know. It has to be set with the weight on the outside. And that means that you have to set it like, oh, okay. So now it looks like we're going to have to go through the process of readjusting this to make sure it's balanced properly at 3 grams. Hopefully it's a little bit quicker this time since we've already done it once. Okay, let's unhook here. All right. See, that's definitely too high now. So we'll lower our tone arm. And get this balanced again. All right, so I can already tell it's way too much right now. Don't slide off there. I think this is the part of the video where I'm grabbing my head, making sure I'm not doing it wrong. All right, let's put our 3 grams back. Balance ourselves out. Okay. Let's set it at 3. A little bit too heavy, so we need to go backwards. Very delicate. A lot more delicate than I expected. Make sure we're lined up with the spindle. I'm sure there is a much more efficient way to do this, and I'm doing it wrong in some way. This feels like the right way. All right, I think we've got it again. That feels like 3. We're showing 3 there. Okay, I think we're dialed in again. All right. Maybe one of the frustrations with a manual turntable versus an automatic turntable is that when you're using a manual turntable, you don't have as much control over the tone arm. So I can see how the benefit of having a manual turntable outweighs the benefit of the benefit of having a automatic turntable outweighs the benefit of a manual. But we'll just see. All right. So there is an extra stylus holder, it says here. This cutout has been designed specifically to store an extra stylus head shell. And that is where 17 stylus head shell cartridge cutout. I think maybe they're talking about that. No, that can't be right. Where is that? 18. That's 18, which is, yeah, it is. This little hole right here is where you store an extra stylus. Okay, now we know. All right, what else is there? We've looked at the counterweight, the hinge for the dust cover, and then the phono line selector is on the back. The RCA output jacks. The output is able to switch to phono output or line output. For example, these jacks are used to send a low voltage phono level output signal to mixers, phone input jacks. Turntable should be connected to phono inputs on a mixer. The red colored RCA jack represents the right channel and the white represents the left channel. We are going to connect to those speakers with the right and left. So we're not going to be using the line input. We're going to be using the phono input. Is that right? I think that's right. We'll find out if speakers blow up. See, this is why I love getting my hands on pieces of technology. So it's not just the theoretical. You kind of understand the things that are needed, the items that are useful, but you don't always understand how they work in real time. So we've got the dust cover clicked in, and like I said, this is spring loaded. And just looking at this turntable, I'm absolutely blown away by how good this looks. This is a beautiful turntable, and it's very affordable. I'm really looking forward to getting this hooked up and seeing how the sound is. I think it's gonna be great. The one thing that we hadn't done yet, we hadn't hooked up the belt, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I am gonna hook up the belt now. Hopefully I don't lose the belt. Oh, that's super simple. I thought it would be a little bit tighter than it is, but it's not super tight. I think the most important part of this, and I used my thumb a little bit as opposed to just the ribbon. The most important thing is that the belt doesn't get twisted around. You want the belt to lie flat on this little pulley spindle here. All right, so that wasn't too difficult to set up. If you know what you're doing, I can see this taking less than 5 minutes to set up. If you don't know what you're doing, it took however long this video is right now, which is probably 15 to 20 minutes is my guess. So the warranty or the owner's manual covers everything like specifications on these. We've already talked about how it's a 3345 unit. It's a manual. We've got the S-shaped tone arm with the detachable head shell, which makes it really easy to change the cartridges, to replace the stylus. This mounting was super simple. It was just a turn of the knob, so there's nothing strange or weird or a big hassle there. So now it's just about getting it set up, getting the connection set up and ready to go. So I think I'm going to start here with the included. Let's put the protector back on, the felt protector. And what's cool, Sound Approach has a whole bunch of options for this. We have rubber turntable mats, we have felt mats, we have the the ones with the cowskin hides on them. All right, so here are my cables. We've got our right and left channel, and the Kanto YU4s that we've talked about in previous videos, and this is the owner's manual. The Kanto YU4s that we've talked about in previous videos are powered speakers, and those generate about 50 watts per channel, I believe, at peak, and 35 to 35 watts or so of RMS power. So they've got pretty good sound. And depending on the space that you use, I'm set up currently in my kitchen, which is pretty lengthy. So I'm probably going to want to listen within about 10 to 12 feet of the setup. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to play you any of the music, but for copyright purposes, as I'm sure you all understand. But I am going to play some music here and listen to it and see what the sound is like. The cord we have is very short. That's about a 3-foot cord. That's pretty short. But if I'm supposed to be going to a different piece of equipment that then goes to my speakers, we may be making a mistake here. But this has the line in. It has the line ins on the Kanto. So let's go ahead and set that up. So we're going to RCA, right and left, and then I have to plug everything in. So bear with me while I plug everything in. And if I did it right, nothing will explode. Okay. Okay, we are plugged in. We've got our turntable set up according to the instructions. I didn't break the stylus, which I'm glad about. So now I'm going to take off the mat. Do we take this off to play? Or do we keep this on? This is a lot more tricky than a CD player. I hope the sound is worth it. I mean, I've listened to records before, but you can tell I'm a millennial, right? All right, let's do this. Does this stay on? I think it stays on. Let's keep it on so we don't scratch the record. I think that's why that's there. All right, I'm going to start with some Fleetwood Mac. I love Fleetwood Mac. Thank you to my parents for sending me some records. I feel like... All right, you know what I didn't do? I'm just realizing it now. I did not check the speed or turn it on. So let's turn it on. There's the LED. Let's start. We are currently set at 33. And this is a 45, correct? Or is this 33? It's supposed to say on it, right? Oh, this is so exciting. Does it say on it? So, this is something I didn't think I was going to run into. I didn't think I was going to run into an issue with the speed for the record. I just looked up some information, and it says that 33 is for albums and 45 is for singles. So it depends on the length of the music that you're listening to. So we're listening to albums, so I'm going to use the 33. And hopefully that's right. So we have to adjust the speed and make sure that that works correctly. So I'm going to start it. Ooh, okay. So it's supposed to stand still, and I don't see anything standing still. So I'm going to adjust it. Maybe it takes a minute to get up to speed. I'm going to adjust the speed. Let's go down to start. See what that does. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at these things on the side, the dots on the side, and waiting for one of them to stop. Ooh, okay. Oh, that's so trippy. Okay. That would give you a headache. You did it too much. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, so the center line here at 33 speed, you can see it drifting slowly. Oh, there, it almost stopped. There we go. So you can see a dot that's lit up by this LED light or by this light that's coming out of the knob. And you see just a circular dot on that middle line that's either standing still or drifting a little bit left and right. It seems to be a bit variable and it's hard to dial in completely. And if I speed it up, it starts to move to the other direction. And if I slow it down, then it starts to balance out. So we're just north of the 0 line. And so 0, we've got to go above 0 to get it stopped so that the dot doesn't move. Then we're at the right speed. So we're kind of hovering between two dots right now. Very, very, very gently just moving it. It's very quiet, no noise. All right, I think that's correct. We're not moving now, so I'm going to stop it. Ooh, that hurts your eyes. The longer you look at it, it hurts your eyes. All right, so now, since this is a manual, I have to do it myself, I think, correct? So let's do that. Let's see what happens. Oh, this has to be on. I see. Okay, so stop. This is the power button. So that has to be on all the time. I thought it was just the light button, but that's the power button. Okay, let's lift up our tone arm. We're going to bring it over, line it up on the beginning of the record, hopefully. Set it down. All right, then gently set down. So after a little bit of trial and error, we finally got everything figured out and we were able to listen to some music. This is a very involved process that I really appreciate. The delicacy and the care that you have to take with setting up a turntable, making sure that you are connecting everything properly, that you got everything set up properly is a lot more intricate than anything that I'm used to. So it's an experience just to go through the setup process, which I really enjoy. I can talk about these pieces of equipment because I've had experience listening to a lot of them. The experience that I've lacked, though, is the hands-on experience playing around with these different pieces of equipment. And that's the most fun part of this process for me. I've really enjoyed that process. The Music Hall US-1 is a beautiful turntable. It's great. It's a simple, easy to use beginner audiophile piece, which I really think anybody would enjoy. It's got a unique character to it for people who are just entering into this world and trying to explore different avenues to enjoy music. And I really appreciate that about this product and turntables in general. Now, we're using the Kanto YU4s, which I've listened to prior and are fantastic sounding speakers. The US-1 is the very beginner level piece for Music Hall. And all these products are available on our website if you want to check them out at soundapproach.com. The one thing that I do want to say is that have an idea, have a sense before you go into it of what you're looking to accomplish. If your goal is to start out listening to albums and you want to enjoy the music as it was recorded 30, 40, 50 years ago, go for it. It's a lot of fun. It looks beautiful. This is a piece that you can talk to about with your friends. I know that Music Hall is very unique in the sense that they have a lot of different designs, they have a lot of different finish options. They have, automatic turntables versus manual turntables. They've got different levels of quality, obviously, and they're all based on older designs from the 80s. But I really think that even if this is their introductory piece, I can't imagine how good putting my hands on like the MMF 11.3 SE, which is like close to their Rolls Royce, if I'm not mistaken. They've got so many beautiful options. Music Hall really is a unique brand. It's under new distribution now. It used to be run somewhere, but now it's going through MoFi distribution in Illinois, and they've really streamlined the process, I think, overall, which makes it much easier as a consumer to feel good about these products. So if you're interested, again, check out our website at soundapproach.com. This was a fun process for me. I really enjoyed hooking these up. I really enjoyed getting my hands on a piece of equipment that was unusual for me and that was a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I've never really had a desire to have a turntable. My parents have a turntable and I've listened to music on it. I've enjoyed the music, but I've never had the hands-on experience that I have setting this up today before, and I've really enjoyed it. I know while I'm thinking about the process, I know that I made mistakes with the tone arm. I know that I made mistakes with the cartridge. I know that I made mistakes setting it up. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't important for me to make those mistakes and to have a better understanding of how this equipment works. It's been a really fun process, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching me sweat a little bit as I completely mucked everything up. And I did say muck, not the other thing. As I completely messed everything up, but I had a lot of fun doing it. So I hope you guys did too. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them. And if you like what you saw, like and subscribe for more content from Sound Approach. Thank you very much, and take care, everyone.